Hello, everybody. So today I'm gonna talk about English pronunciation in a global world. And before I start with that, let me just talk about uh, what is FutureLearn. So it is essential to talk about FutureLearn because I've got the idea and also the content from FutureLearn. FutureLearn is an online learning platform that offers free and paid courses from universities and institutions around the world. And on this week, there were three mentors that helped us to understand the content, and also they actually replied our comments. I've written a comment, as you can tell. On this comment, there was a question. It was like, uh, what do you find hard while talking in English? And I said, usually I can't talk very fast because whenever I try to, it sounds like a gibberish. So the mentor, Amanda, actually replied my comment and said, that's a common challenge that many learners experience. Speaking a bit slower helps you. Thanks to her, it was a great advice. And also, there was also one comment that I want to put. It's about why speaking English with different pronunciations and accents matter to me. So. After that, this is my content. Today, I'm going to talk about what is important in English pronunciation in the global world, credibility, intelligibility, identity, pronunciation versus accent, and rhoticity. So, let me start with what is important in English pronunciation in the global world. So, the picture is kind of irrelevant, but anyways, um, as we know, English is a well-spoken common language, and a lot of people on the internet and also face-to-face communicate with English. And English is essential, and a lot of native speakers and also foreigners communicate each other in English because it is a way easier and very efficient to communicate, I think. And it is the most popular language. And we have three different aspects. Today I'm going to talk about credibility, intelligibility, and identity. So I'm going to start with credibility. Credibility means the quality of being trusted or believed. Uh, trustfulness. It means trustfulness. So, for example, when you talk in English, and your pronunciation should be understandable and trustfully because it affects the way you are perceived actually. And not a great example, but a lot of people on the world thinks that some accents are better than the others. For example, when they hear an Indian accent, they think that it is irrelevant or it sounds worse than British accent, but it is not true. It's an opinion. And actually, we have to ascertain the pronunciation features that is affecting our credibility. So this is credibility, and I think it's the most common and important thing about English pronunciation. And after that, and also this is a picture, like there are four people and who are all from different natives, different races, as we can tell, but they are communicating well with each other because they are actually focusing on the credibility. And after that, we have intelligibility. It means understandability, how easily a listener can understand what someone says. And it is also important, it is actually very important because when your speech is intelligible, people who are listening to you can understand you without, questioning or without any doubts. Like they will not consider what you say, or they will consider, but they will not question what you say. So intelligibility is important. And this picture, it doesn't seem like they are intelligible to each other. They are just yelling. And intelligibility associated with word stress, intonation, rhythm, correct vowel, and consonant sounds. So this is the intelligibility. And after that, we have the third and the last one, identity. It should meet your personal goals and suit you. And I put a picture. There are some people, and they have all different colors, as you can tell, and it actually shows their identity. I prefer the pink one. Anyways, so identity basically should be like, for example, let me just give an example. I'm Turkish, so I have a Turkish accent. Sometimes I sound like an American, but sometimes, some of the words, but usually I have an usually I have a Turkish accent, and this is my identity because I am Turkish, and I'm proud of being Turkish, and also having a Turkish accent actually meets my personal goals, and I think it suits me better because um it is the way that I am perceived, and I'm not gonna deny any of my accent or my pronunciation. So I think you should also do that. But if you want to try different accents and if you want to learn how to speak different in English, it is up to you. Like, of course, you can do that, but you shouldn't just deny your identity. I feel like this is my opinion. So after identity, we have a part of pronunciation versus accent. So pronunciation basically means hmm, how words and sounds are sound. Okay, the sentence doesn't sound like great, but accent is based on the region and the country that you are from. For example, I have a Turkish accent, and pronunciation's purpose is to have clear and understandable speech, but accent's purpose is to show how your language background is. Pronunciation focuses on accuracy of sounds, stress, and intonation, while accent focuses on the rhythm, melody, and overall sound pattern of speech. Pronunciation can be correct or incorrect. For example, if you say vegetable, it sounds correct, but if you say vegetable, it's not correct. But accent is not something like could be correct or incorrect. You can say water or you can say water. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter. And pronunciation affects intelligibility also because when I say vegetable, some people cannot understand what I mean, but accent usually doesn't stop the conversation if it is intelligible and if it is pronounced well. So. After the pronunciation versus accent part, we have rhoticity, the pronunciation of R. So there are two types of native speakers, rhotic and non-rhotic speakers. And which one do you prefer and why? Like, do you prefer rhotic pronunciation or non-rhotic? So I usually prefer rhotic pronunciation, even though sometimes I don't use R while talking. I think it is way better to use rhotic pronunciation because a lot of foreign languages actually use R while talking. In Turkish, we use R a lot, and in a lot of different countries, they use R a lot. So I think it is way more easier to us to understand, and it is just when you write R, I think you have to say that it is written. While talking in non-rhotic pronunciation, it could be confusing because there are some words that are very identical when it sounds or when it is pronounced in non-rhotic speakers, and we wouldn't want that because when you hear the words, you'll be confused. You'll be like, which one do you use? I mean, it can be understood from the sentence, but sometimes the sentence wouldn't even work. And I put three different words on this side. So on the left side, they are just written normally, and on the right side, the R's are in the parentheses. I'm gonna read them. Far and far, and car, and perfect and perfect. So it may not sound a lot different because I'm not British or American, but because I don't have the both accents, but it is actually very different from each other. And after talking about rhoticity, I also need to talk about the history of rhoticity because it is actually quite interesting. So, rhoticity begins with of course, England, United Kingdom. And after the settlement of the northern hemisphere on the 17th century, as you can say, the red part is the northern hemisphere and the blue part is southern hemisphere. After the settlement of the northern hemisphere on the 17th century, on the 18th century they start to lose the R, and after losing the R, the settlement of southern hemisphere begins, and it's like 19th century and later. So that means basically Americans are rhotic speakers, but Australians and New Zealanders are non-rhotic speakers. They don't use R, while Americans use R. And some of the part of England use R, but some of them don't use it because it's spread away, but the farthest parts actually couldn't reach it, so they use rhotic accent, while some of the England parts are using like a non-rhotic pronunciation accent. And that's it.